Hey, what's going on, Trojan family? Welcome to the USC LAFB show. I'm your host, Ryan Dybert. Thank you, as always, for making this show a part of your day and your number one source for USC Trojans content. Hope everyone had a fantastic weekend, a fantastic Mother's Day. Shout out to all the moms out there. Shout out to my mom, who lives in Denver, Colorado. Got to talk to her for a little bit. Shout out to my wife, amazing mom, to our daughter. We got to go out to Malibu yesterday and enjoy the beach. It's been a beautiful but hot few days here in LA, but it's great to escape to the beach and enjoy some nice water, so that was great. So hopefully you all enjoyed your weekend and time with your wives, moms, loved ones, family, whoever you were with. So on this Mother's Day, we got a big commitment for the USC Trojans, which we will talk about, plus a new commitment today. I'm recording this on Monday, plus some intel on a potential, I don't want to say flip to SC, but some interesting nuggets on a recent Oregon commit. So let's get all into it. Yesterday, elite, 4-star, technically edge rated prospect, Shawn Scott of Mater Dei commits to USC. This is another huge commitment. It's been trending this way for a long time. Shawn Scott's been building a relationship with Coach Newell for quite some time, has been visiting USC basically since he was a freshman at Mater Dei, but it certainly picked up more steam kind of in this recent, the turn of the new year, I'll say, with the addition of Chad Bowden and his staff, and with the addition of Coach Rob Ryan as the linebacker coach, because while Shawn Scott is listed as an edge, he's the 37th ranked edge in the country according to On3 industry rankings. ESPN has him as high as 14th in their edge rankings. But USC is actually recruiting him as a linebacker. And the plan is to play him as a stack linebacker, your prototypical Mike or Will linebacker, but behind the line of scrimmage, because he has that kind of versatility. But because he has that kind of versatility, you can also use him as a pass rusher in certain situations. Whether that be coming off the edge or whether that's through stunts or different looks coming through the middle of the line. And we know how DC Dan Lynn, Coach Belt, Coach Henney, really the entire defensive staff loves versatile players. We've seen it since Coach Lynn has been with SC, although it's only been a year, but how they've used Jalen Smith all over the place, Kamari Ramsey, kind of using him in different roles, using the defensive line when permitted in different roles. Eric Gentry differently when he was healthy. I think we'll see this year Jakeem Stewart used all across the defensive line. We know Coach Henney loves moving guys all over the defensive line. So the fact that Shawn Scott is viewed by many as an edge and the Trojans view him as a stack linebacker just shows you they believe he's a true versatile weapon, that they can get the most out of him at linebacker and potentially see him as that's his best fit for the next level to get to the NFL. I'm sure that was part of the pitch. But being able to use him in different NASCAR and sub packages that they can still utilize that pass rushing ability, but have him be more side of the sideline, maybe the next 5'5", who knows? But I think they're putting together a nice linebacker class here slowly. Obviously, this was the second technically linebacker commit. He's listed as edge. And then you look at their number one recruit, Xavier Griffin, who, again, can play edge as well, but also linebacker, listed as a linebacker. We'll see exactly where they want to slot him in when he gets to campus. But build that nicely. And then today, they add another linebacker to this class. And lesser known, 3-star guy on Rivals, no ranking on any of the other three, On3, 247, ESPN. But I think this is a really underrated addition. And that's linebacker Taylor Johnson from San Bernardino. Went to Cajon High School, or goes to Cajon. He's going to be a senior. Finished last year with 174 tackles. 174 tackles in high school. That's a lot of tackles. You're averaging double digits every single game. Added 4 sacks and 3 pass deflections. 6'2", 201, great body size. Local kid, plays right here, as I said, in the IE, going to Cajon High School. Recruited by San Diego State, Cal, West Virginia. I think Boston College was in there. Oregon State. So it wasn't sought after by, the Alabama, Michigans, Oregons of the world, but still highly recruited, had a lot of offers, and it's another local kid. And I think what you're seeing with this class is you're getting a nice mix of blue chip guys while also getting a nice mix of high ceiling, lesser known developmental guys. So you're getting that base of blue chip that you need in every class, right? You got to have the Kini Pepes. You got to have the Shawn Scotts, who is going to be, he's a premier blue chip linebacker. You've got to have the Xavier Griffins. You've got to have those 5-star, high-end 4-star guys. But then you build out the rest of the class with lower end, and I hate that sounds rude to say, just in terms of like how they're ranked, lower end 4-star and higher end 3-star guys that you see like, these guys are going to fit what we want to do. They fit our culture, and I think they're overlooked by the other programs because, there's so many high school kids. You can only, someone's going to get it wrong, right? Like, not every ranking is going to be perfect. A lot of rankings are going to be wrong. But you're going to have a lot of kids that don't get ranked at all or just don't get seen, especially here in SoCal. There's more high schools in like Los Angeles County than the entire state of Colorado where I grew up. My conference that I played in high school was, I think it was like a 14-team conference. And it was like that within 5A, which is like the top league in Colorado. It was like Douglas County, Jefferson County, and like Denver County, like the main, and each conference had like 8 to 14. And that was like kind of the 5A division. California, just the southern section has 14 divisions, each of those having 10 plus teams. Those all kind of intertwine, intermingled. Then you have like Trinity League, you have the open division. And that's just the southern section. It's insane. So you're going to miss some prospects for sure in these rankings. And I think Taylor Johnson is one of those. I'm not just saying this from bias. I think you look at, and this is not on that topic, but as an example, Chase Denise, the offensive tackle that was recruited out of kind of San Diego County, again, kind of low tier, 3-star, not really known. You watch the kid move, or you talk to guys that have seen him practice, seen him at some of these skills camps. Dude plays way higher than an unknown 3-star. Like, he's going to surprise a lot of people. And so I think that's when for any fans out there, like, oh, whatever, it's just a 3-star. Like, as Trevon Reed said, and I know this is a different position, but he said, I'm going to take 3 stars, turn them into 5 stars, 5 stars into first-round picks. So you got to find the guys that fit your program, fit what you want to do in terms of versatility, skill set, size, and then have that moldability that then you can develop. And A, you hopefully get a really good player that contributes to your program, but B, that's another recruiting tool in the future that you're like, hey, you feel overlooked? Come here to SC because we're going to develop you. Look what we did with this kid. This kid was a no-star recruit. Look at Cam Ward. Cam Ward was a no-star recruit, went to Incarnate Word, was now the number 1 overall pick in the draft. So that can happen a lot. 5 stars are important. You got to get blue chips in you can't just live on hoping to develop all 3 stars. Like, sometimes you get lucky in that, but you're going to have down years. You got to have those blue chips. But it's really important still to round out your roster with those lower ranking guys that fit what your culture is. And obviously it's important the 5 stars fit your culture too. Not all 5 stars are equal. So anyway, I'm just saying, I think this Johnson pick, I'm not saying he's as good as Shawn Scott. If they're both going to be recruited as linebackers, Shawn Scott obviously has a higher ceiling, higher skill set, comes from a higher pedigree going to Mater Dei. But both being local kids, both being great size, great pedigree. And now Taylor Johnson can come in with a chip on his shoulder and be like, look, I know I'm the low guy on this class. I want to beat out Shawn Scott. I want to beat out Xavier Griffin. They're my teammates, but I'm fighting for a role here. You need some of those guys. And so I think it's a really good addition here. Last thing. We'll keep it a shorty today. I'll do a little better, right? What are we at here? Yeah, we'll keep this under 20. So over the weekend, was it Friday? Saturday? Long weekend as always. But 5-star edge Richard Wesley committed to Oregon. USC recruited him, obviously. Local kid, Sierra Canyon. Obviously, super talented, 5-star. He was 2027 class, reclassified to 26. So technically he's going in senior year because he reclassified, but in terms of age, he would be going into his junior year, just finished his sophomore season. So 16 years old, young kid, tons of talent, similar to, Jakeem Stewart. Not saying he's on the same level, but that kind of status of reclassifying and just being above his age, but still mentality-wise, a very young kid. Goes on a visit to Oregon, and this is a report from Rivals. Goes on a visit to Oregon this weekend, commits on the spot. Weird video, make whatever you want. Him and Dan Lanning jumping into a pool, saying his commitment. It's kind of like an awkward, weird video. Nothing wrong with it, but it was just, a lot of people had fun making fun of it. It was kind of odd. But anyway, he commits to Oregon. It was his first trip per Rivals that he went to Oregon without his dad, without anyone close in his camp. So essentially a 16-year-old making a very big decision on his own, which, hey, I'm not against that by any means. I made a decision of where I was going to go to college when I was 16 when I applied to Long Beach State and got in and, my junior year. But at that moment in that time, did not have his kind of mentors with him to kind of, all right, slow down. It's great. Everything's good. You don't have to commit today. Per the Rivals report, they talked to Wesley's father, Jonathan Wesley, and here is what he said after the commitment. He said, "We don't have anything set in stone with Oregon as far as the full package. As far as we're concerned, we like Oregon a lot, but there is still some fine-tuning that we need to do." He continues, "It was kind of like a shock. We had a plan set in stone, but I guess the overexcitement, this whole process is a lot on a kid. It's a lot on us as adults. Ultimately, when I talked to him, he didn't tell me to shut the recruiting down. And he's still very much open and interested in other places. This definitely isn't a final decision because there's a lot to be finalized." So this is basically the loosest commitment in recent memory. When the parent is legit saying, like, he's almost basically saying we're not committed. I mean, there's no way to say you're not committed. This is the only way to say you're not committed without saying you're not committed, right? Like, I guess on paper, or not even on paper, it's verbal. I guess on social media and via handshake, they're committed, but via mindset and the entire process, the rest of the way, they are definitely not committed. Because just the pure definition of the word commitment, right, is you are committed all in with that program. I know people flip and decommit all the time, but when you do commit, you technically should be committed. Within 24 hours, the dad is saying, like, yeah, this isn't done yet. This isn't the final decision. We got a long process, got a lot of the visits lined up. We'll be taking those visits. He was just overexcited and, wanted to jump in the pool, I guess. That was me paraphrasing, obviously. As of the Under Armour camp in Los Angeles last weekend, the younger Wesley, the player, told Rivals that he had visits lined up with Oregon, Ohio State, Texas, Texas A&M, Tennessee, and USC. Based on what the father said, those seem to still be very on. We'll see if that changes. Obviously, they'll talk more as a family out there back home and figure and iron things out. But I say this, that SC certainly has recruited Wesley. He's in their backyard. I don't think they've recruited him based on what I've heard and just my opinion. I don't think they've recruited him as hard as, say, Oregon or A&M. Not because I don't think they like him, but I think they feel good about who they have already in the class. There's only so many spots. I think there's other guys they're going after that I think maybe they think fit better. So we'll see if now that he's quote-unquote committed, if they'll pursue a little harder and what Coach Henney wants to do and Coach Nua wants to do in terms of kind of their level of recruitment, level of communication they'll have with Wesley and keeping that going. We know they do communicate. We know they talk. So the recruitment is there and is open. So we'll see what that looks like, and I'll obviously keep you guys posted. He is ranked the 4th-ranked edge in the 26th class. So very similar to Jakeem, right? Jakeem was like the number 1 edge in the 26th class. He commits or reclassifies to 25, drops down slightly just due to age, but still is like a 5-star, highly ranked Edge even being a year younger. Wesley, the same thing. He was the number 1 in the 27 class, drops 26, and is still the 4th ranked Edge in the 26 class. So, super talented kid, local kid. We know SC is obviously pursuing these Sierra Canyon kids, all LA kids. So I don't think this is done yet. I don't sit here and say, yeah, they're going to flip him for sure, because I don't even know how hard they're pursuing him. But it sounds like they have a visit scheduled, and certainly the communication will continue to be open, and his recruitment obviously sounds very open still. So such an interesting thing. Like I can't remember ever hearing that after someone commits where the dad or someone else close to him immediately is like, yeah, we're still open. That might be the case a lot, but I've never heard someone publicly straight up say, like, yeah, we're still open. I was, he was just excited, gave him the old verbal, but, this thing's still very open. There's a lot of stuff to work out. I've never heard that publicly said. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know your thoughts on the Shawn Scott commitment, Taylor Johnson commitment, and this whole Richard Wesley situation. And if you think he'll end up as a Trojan, if you think he'll stay a Duck or end up elsewhere, maybe in Texas or something, let me know what you guys' thoughts. Comment below. I said it last time. The forum is very close to being live. This week, it will be live. It's my homework tonight, late tonight, what I'm going to be working on once the daughter gets to bed. So the forum should be up live tonight. We can communicate there as well. Make sure to check that out on LAFBnetwork.com this week. If you have not already, please hit that like and subscribe button. USC LAFB is the YouTube channel. If you prefer audio, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast, just search Salute to Troy. And as I've said every time, you can find everything USC, everything LA on LAFBnetwork.com. We're going to have a great evening. I'll be back in just a couple days. Can't wait to talk to you all again soon. As always, fight on.